If you've even thought about buying a home lately, you know the last few years have felt like a total roller coaster. We're talking sky-high prices, crazy bidding wars, and mortgage rates that just kept climbing. It's been tough, for sure, and it's left a lot of us wondering if we completely missed the boat. But what if the market is actually finally about to hit a turning point? Okay, let's get into it. This is the big question on everyone's mind, isn't it? After all this frustration and just waiting for so many buyers, all eyes are now on 2026. Is this the year things really start to look up? Well, the experts have a lot to say, and it all kicks off with one pretty surprising number: 14%. Let that sink in for a second. That's the nationwide jump in existing home sales that the National Association of Realtors, that's NAR, is forecasting for 2026. I mean, after years of the market feeling totally stuck in the mud, a double-digit jump like that would be a massive, massive shift. So what in the world is driving this optimism?
Let's start with the big picture here. Are we about to see another crazy housing boom, or is this something else entirely?
Okay, so here's the crucial thing to understand. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is calling for a return to the absolute frenzy we saw during the pandemic years. Instead, the consensus is that 2026 is the start of a slow, steady return to normal. Think of it less like a rocket launch and more like a gentle thaw after a really long winter. The market is finally moving back towards some kind of balance.
Now, while all the experts pretty much agree on the general direction, which is up, they have slightly different takes on what this recovery is going to look and feel like. So let's decode what the major players are predicting. This chart is where you can really see the different schools of thought. Over on one side, you've got NAR calling for a strong rebound, banking on that big 14% jump in sales. Then you've got Redfin, who's calling this the Great Housing Reset, basically a longer-term thing where our wages finally, hopefully, start growing faster than home prices. And then Realtor.com is kind of in the middle, predicting a more modest, balanced market with slow and steady gains. You see the common thread, right? Things are getting better, just at a different speed depending on who you ask. Okay, let's pivot to the numbers that really hit home, the ones that matter for your budget: mortgage rates, home prices, and what it all means for your wallet. All right, this is the number that everyone has been obsessing over. The general agreement among experts is that the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate will land somewhere around 6% in 2026. Now look, that's not the historic rock-bottom lows we saw a few years back, but it's a huge drop from the 7+% peaks. And that shift, it has a massive impact on your monthly payment and how much house you can actually afford. So what about home prices? Is the bubble gonna burst? Well, according to NAR, not a chance. They're forecasting a pretty modest 4% appreciation across the country. This really points towards stability. Prices are still expected to climb, thanks to things like job growth, but at a pace that's way more sustainable. Now, this number from a study by the National Association of Home Builders, this is fascinating. It shows just how sensitive the market is to interest rates. Get this. A tiny drop of just 1/4 percentage point, say from 6.25% down to 6%, is enough to let an additional 1.42 million households qualify for a mortgage. That is a huge wave of potential buyers who can suddenly jump in the game. And this visual illustrates the single biggest challenge in the market right now perfectly. On the left, you see the affordability pyramid. That big, wide base, that's the huge number of families who can afford homes in the lower price ranges. But then you look to the right and you see the reality of our housing supply. The number of homes that are actually available in those affordable ranges is, well, it's way, way smaller. Let's put some hard numbers on that mismatch. The data shows that 47.5 million households can only afford a home priced under $200,000. But less than 21 million homes in that price range actually exist. This massive, massive shortage of affordable entry-level homes is really the fundamental problem that's shaping everything else in the market. This whole supply and demand issue has basically created a split-screen market. It's really become a tale of two completely different experiences, depending on who you are as a buyer. As NAR's own economists put it, we've got a market of haves and have-nots. On one side, you have first-time buyers who are getting squeezed by high rent, student loans, you name it, causing their share of the market to drop to an all-time low. But on the other side, you've got repeat buyers, often baby boomers, who are sitting on a mountain of home equity and can make these super strong, often all-cash offers. It's just a deeply uneven playing field right now. So if you're a buyer, especially a first-timer, this all leads to a huge question. Should you jump in now, or do you wait for that perfect moment? Let's really dig into the financial trade-offs of that decision. There's actually a concept for this called the cost of waiting. And it's not just a feeling, it's a tangible calculation. It's a way to measure what you financially lose out on by putting off a home purchase. It's all about turning that vague, what if I wait, into a real number. So, how does it work? It's actually pretty straightforward. First, you factor in the expected price increase of the home. Since prices are forecast to rise, waiting means paying more. Simple. Second, you add up all the rent you're going to pay while you're waiting. That's money that's not building any equity for you. And finally, you subtract the ownership cost you would have paid, like mortgage interest and taxes, to get the true net cost of your delay. This whole idea brings us to a mantra that's become super popular in real estate right now. Marry the house, date the rate. The strategy is simple. You find the right home for you, and you lock in its price today, especially while there's a little less competition out there. Then, down the road, when interest rates get even better, you can refinance your mortgage. You're committing to the property for the long haul, but that mortgage rate, that's just temporary.
Okay, so we've looked at the forecasts, we've crunched the numbers, and we've talked strategy. What does this all mean for you as you're standing at this 2026 housing crossroads?
So let's just boil it all down. Yes, rates are getting better, but remember, that's going to pull more buyers back into the market, which means more competition. Affordability is slowly improving, but that huge shortage of homes for sale is still a major roadblock. And look, trying to time the market perfectly is basically impossible. And as we just saw, waiting has its own real costs. But the good news in all of this, the market is becoming more balanced, which gives you, the buyer, more options and more power than you've had in a long time.
So that brings us right back to the central dilemma, doesn't it? We have a market that is clearly on the mend, but it's also about to get more competitive. Affordability is improving, but the best deals might just be sitting there before everyone else decides to jump back in. So it leaves us with one final question for you to think about. As you plan your next move, what's the real cost, not just in dollars and cents, but in opportunity, of waiting for a perfect moment that might never actually come?